Hello, friends. Welcome to the chapter 4 of the book Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Nguyen. The chapter 4 is very interesting, got my all attention. The chapter named is Thoughts versus Thinking. Here, beautifully, the author describes us the difference between thought and thinking. He says thoughts are the energetic Thoughts are the energetic mental raw material from which we create everything in the world. Again, thoughts are noun and aren't something that we do or something we have. The source of thought directly comes something that is beyond our mind, universe, or from the divine. Thinking, on the other hand, the act of thinking about our thought. Thinking is actively engaging with the thought in our mind. He says thinking is the root cause for all the psychological suffering. So, if that's the thing, then what about the positive thoughts which pop in our head where we become millionaire, we become whatever we wish to, a celebrity, and all those things? He says positive thoughts come from the place are which are generated naturally in the state of peace, love, and joy. They are the byproduct of state of being, but not from the state of thinking. So he gives a beautiful example. He asks us, for example, what is the amount of income you want to generate this year? Now, again, he tells us take a pause of 30 seconds until you have the answer. Then, once you have the answer, he says multiply it by 5, and then when you multiply by 5 you have a bigger figure which you want to achieve this year, financial goal. So he says initially when a figuratively popped out, like a particular figure, when initial question was asked popped out, you were at ease, you were relaxed, you felt expanded, you felt loved, achievable. As soon as you started thinking about how to generate that kind of income, there comes the fear, overthinking, maybe procrastination. He always says thoughts are not inherently bad, but remember, again, they are the raw material from which the world is created. The moment we think our thoughts, when we begin to get an emotional roller coaster. When we think our thought, we begin to judge, criticize the thought, experience all sort of internal emotion turmoil. He says when you think about a thought, that's when all other problems pops in. Thought are naturally coming to our mind, which is very natural. And also he says it is not necessarily to think about all the thought that pops in our head and judge them. Sometimes just let the thought pop out and then let it be. Don't overthink about it. Thoughts create, again he says thoughts create, but thinking destroys. Also he says how do we differentiate between the thoughts and thinking in a very simple way. He says if the source is from the universe, then it's a thought. If it is thinking, it comes to your ego. Thoughts are lighter, expansive, indefinite, creative, positive, divine, alive, with full of love, possibility, wholeness, and effortlessness. Whereas thinking comes from the place of ego, heaviness, restriction, limitation, destructive thoughts, negative thoughts, moral obligation, stressfulness, fear, confining us to a particular situation, separatedness, and laboratories. So he says, since our mind is all the time active, thoughts are naturally going to pop out, but you don't have to think about it and create a visual thing in your own head which will bring you down. So, see you in the next chapter. Thank you for listening.